have some new things coming to you. And to start off, we're going to start off with a fairly new career field in clinical research. So we're going to get some information about that. But to start off, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Courtney Troxler Barnes. I'm a CRA2 at Thermo Fisher. I have been a part of BWICR now since 2020, so 5 years. And everything that I know and love and have found out and have been exposed to about clinical research has come from this group. Whether it has been introduced to me by someone in this group, or it has been a pathway that has been opened for me because I've been connected to this group. So I am so happy to be here back, giving you guys other things to look forward to and to reach towards, and to introduce our new co-host. Oh, I love this girl. She's so sweet. So sweet. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Miss Desiree Powell.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. I am Desiree Powell, and I'll be your co-host today for this clinical research adjacent field of field reimbursement. I come from, new, I'm new to Black women in clinical research. I joined but a whopping about a month and a half ago, but I've been quietly stalking this group for like for like a year. And I have learned quite a bit just from the stalking. And I am stalking this group and now a new member because I am an entrepreneur trying to enter this space of clinical research, but my background is actually preclinical research. And I am very excited to learn about all the various fields as well as those adjacent to it. So let's get right into it.
Awesome. Thank you, Desiree. Welcome to the group. I hope this is not your only career chat, but we'll talk about that later. Until then, I would like to introduce our two guests that we have today. We have Miss Demisha Arnett and Miss Latoya Wise, and I will give them the opportunity to introduce themselves to us. And I will start with Miss Demisha, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'd like to take a few minutes to share my journey from the bedside, from critical care, and fulfilling a career in pharmaceutical industry. Started out as a critical care registered nurse, absolutely loved it. However, during that time, I had a serious injury on the floor while caring for a patient. So I had to step away from the bedside. Basically, it was a heartbreaking turning point for me. A friend of mine actually introduced me to the reimbursement. She said, being so I had the clinical knowledge, it would be a shoe-in opportunity for me. So did a lot of research and a little bit on the reimbursement side and went, had an interview with the last group, which is where I started out as a patient navigator. Transitioned my way up to different leadership roles with Smith and Nephew, and then I went back to the last group as a field reimbursement manager. Went to McKesson, which is where I met Latoya, and we work together, and we're still friends as of today. Another wonderful opportunity came with the Stratus Group GSK, which is now I'm a senior access reimbursement manager. And I love what I do. I'm still doing my patient care, but I'm just doing it out in the field. So been doing it for almost about 9 years now. So really love the work. A wonderful opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Demisha. And now, Miss Latoya Wise, please take the floor and introduce yourself to us.
Thank you, ladies. So again, Latoya, you guys, I am relocated from New Orleans to Houston, and I say that because people always say, "Where are you from?" Your accent. I'm originally from New Orleans. I live in Houston. I actually started my healthcare journey on the federal side in eligibility, actually under the Obama administration during the healthcare reform. And when the laws changed in January 2014, I didn't want to stay within the rims of New Orleans. So I relocated to Houston, and where I began my journey at a specialty pharmacy. working at the specialty pharmacy, and that's where I went from eligibility to working with prior authorizations for several different specialty drugs. And that's where I actually was introduced to the reimbursement side. I actually wanted to be in the field, so I actually transitioned from the specialty pharmacy side to actually working in nephrology, where I actually worked for DaVita, hosting working with insurance management with several different DaVita clinics, and transition from DaVita to the provider relation side, whereas working on the payer side, doing contracts and learning deep about the just working closely with the pharmacy benefit managers. Was became well, I was already familiar with the reimbursement role, and it was so hard to get in. And I also applied for Meritorious version of the last group with Demisha. I wasn't lucky to get my yes the first time. I tried a few years later, and I got my yes in 2021. 23, got my yes in 23. And I exit and went to the Amerisource version, which is now you see on LinkedIn by the name of Syncora. So did a launch for an ophthalmology drug, and had an opportunity to come be an FRM over at Cover My Meds, where I actually now am an FRM and supporting a major depression medication. Also, a new medication is a launch. So that's a little bit about me. If you listen to the journey, I went from eligibility to working at the specialty pharmacy, and with the provider relation manager. As a provider relation manager, you're doing pretty much the same thing. It's just a title. You're doing medical as well as pharma, and now as a field reimbursement manager, where I've been again the role about 6 years. And that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Latoya. I just love the both of you. I love the energy that you both brought to just this atmosphere from the jump. So I do think that this is going to be a great conversation. I will say though, if you all please give us some grace. We're having some weather issues on the East Coast where we are, and unfortunately, y'all's nephew is a little annoyed by it. So,
Get that dog a bone. So dog is hungry.
I'm sorry, y'all.
That dog hungry. Someone said that dog hungry.
He's really not.
That dog is hungry.
I really just gave him some food to shut him up. It's the storm that's coming, y'all. I'm sorry. But let's start off with this question, which I think is a great start. What does a typical day look like for you? And Demisha, let's start with you.
Honestly, every day is different. And that's what I love about the field reimbursement role. I spend my time supporting providers, offices with access issues, whether it's benefits investigations, helping with prior authorizations, or navigating a tricky payer policy. So also do a lot of education. I do little seminars, and things as far as like, again, educating my offices and the staff to work closely with internal teams as well. So some days I'm in the field visiting practices. Other days I'm on team calls all day and on emails. So, and also reviewing territory trends. So every day is a different day. It's just depending on what is needed out in the field.
Nice. Awesome. So Latoya, what about you? What does a day look like for you? Is it different from what Demisha experienced?
No, my day, let me go back. So working as an FRM, and every FRM role is going to be slightly different because of the territory, of course, the therapy and its different requirements that the pharma company is looking for us to actually make contact with our offices, right? But pretty much the same. A lot of education. My day, I'm in the field Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. I work from home on Mondays and Fridays. So going to the offices, educating the offices, working on appeals and denials. This role is a lot of education. So basically using everything you did in office, you working inside. And I do want to just pivot just a little for those that may not know fully what a field reimbursement manager is. I know Danielle wants to actually, I'm sorry, just want to go in because field reimbursement manager as FRMs, we're actually not doing the work. We're not doing the claims. We're not doing any of those things. We're just pretty much just truly just educating the offices after they have completed the prior authorization and denials.
Okay, and so can you kind of go into the education piece a little bit more? Like, what
Sure.
exactly are we educating to our clients?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So when you go back into when you're in the office, right? A lot of the ladies that's in office and is working in these provider offices, a lot of them have not been formally trained on prior authorizations. Most of your clinicians are not the ones actually doing the prior authorizations, even though they have actually been provided this duty to complete a prior authorization. They have not been thoroughly or clinically trained on a prior authorization. And so when we go in the office, we're presenting them, the provider has sent this prescription over to the pharmacy. The pharmacy has rejected this claim, saying it requires a prior authorization. And now, after that claim has been rejected, that through Cover My Meds, they have been notified of by fax that, hey, in order for your patient to get this medication, a prior authorization needs to be completed. And they take the clinical notes, almost like an open book test, right? They take the clinical notes and they're looking at this prior authorization, they're trying to answer these questions that they have not been clinically trained on. And then, of course, they submit it to the pharmacy benefit manager and they get a rejection. That's where your field reimbursement manager come in as a trained subject matter expert, explaining the denial to them, stating this is what the pharmacy benefit manager is looking at. And when you submit these prior authorizations, the pharmacy benefit managers are looking at how it's documented. So the information that you're providing to them, like for example, if you get a prescription, I work in major depression, and they're looking for my patients to actually try at least 3 other medications, right? And when they've completed the prior authorization, they have documented patient has tried several medications. Okay, what medication did they try? So you send that over to the pharmacy benefit managers, just stating that they're going to deny it. So my job is to go in and educate by recommending. I'm not telling you what to put on the prior authorization. I'm just stating this is what you would actually likely get an approval if you actually try wording it like this.
So basically, Courtney, in the heart of it, field reimbursement is about we're basically removing the barriers. We taking out the problems and to making sure no patient is left behind because of insurance or billing issues. We're there to solve those barriers. That's what we do as FRMs. We don't sell the product because a lot of people thinking we're sales rep. We don't do that. We're not sales reps. We help support access to it. So as me and Latoya, our role is basically problem solving, educating, and to ensure the providers have the tools they need to get patients on therapy while staying fully compliant with the regulations as well. So that's what we do. All in a nutshell.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
and
sense.
also, and I'm sorry, Courtney. And what I actually tell my providers is the best way to explain it as well is what we do, you hear us talk about, we collaborate with the sales rep. So you're partnering with your sales rep and supporting them in this role. However, the best way to explain that is the sales rep actually handles everything clinical. They're talking promotional to the doctor or to the nurse practitioner, to the clinician, whoever that person is that's right. You want them to get the right medication. After that prescription has been written, then anything that happens, anything barriers come up after the prescription is written, then your contact will be your field reimbursement manager. So we're non-clinical, and to like Tamisha's point, making sure we stay compliant. We're never in the room. We can join our sales reps for our luncheons, but we're never in the room when we talk in patient specifics along with that sales rep, because that piece I did leave out that I did work for DOJ. That was a big piece. I worked for DOJ during the pandemic, and compliance is very, very important.
Very
Never want to
important.
be in front of any judge because something that didn't happen with a sales rep. But yes, that was great, Denisha.
Yeah, but that also makes sense as to why you would only be focused on one drug for one region. So you want
Exactly.
very specific on what's going on in that area. Okay.
Right.
So, just to kind of dig in, I mean, I do have some questions, a list of questions here, but you guys are already kind of touching on quite a few. But like we're talking about compliance, and I know with all of these lovely clinical research professionals here, and I do see some field reimbursement folks popping into the chat. When we're talking about compliance, I know that you guys are traveling. I know that there's like a bit of traveling and moving around. So there's some autonomy there. So uh, skipping to one of the other questions that I see, how do you balance that field autonomy with staying aligned with like the internal compliance and cross-functional goals? Because you have to be able to work on your own, but also all these other regulations.
Mhm.
You want to
Like, how
go,
are you
Tanisha? You want me to go
managing
ahead
that?
and go?
Um, I would just say the balance is key to success. I maintain open lines of communication with my director, cross-functional partners such as my sales team as well. Attending compliance regularly training and never stray, from product label, which is very, important. So everything that I do, I document everything. And of course, consult legal or compliance if there's ever, like a gray area. So that's what we have our legal department for.
And I would also add to that, as field reimbursement managers, we have a list whenever you're working on the therapy, there is a list called rules of engagement. And we are following those rules of engagement that allowing us or telling us how to engage with our counterparts. And that is very important, staying compliant as well while you actually continue, while you're working in the role.
Hmm.
And just knowing the conversations that
Very
you can
good.
actually, I'm sorry.
No, continue, continue.
No, just knowing the conversations and when you have actually those rules of engagements and knowing from the training, following the trainings that you've been provided, those rules are there would actually keep you out of being non-compliant. And
Right.
like to Demisha's point, I document everything.
Yep.
If they reach out, if my sales rep reach out
Mhm.
to me by
It's
text,
documented.
and I'm going to send an email per the text conversation ABC
Yep.
because I always want to have everything that in black and white for the conversation if I need to go back to it.
Hmm. Yep.
So things change, regulations change, policies change. How do you stay up to date with all of that? Are there resources that you have?
You get online and you have to read. You reading is still it's so fundamental. Say there every state outcome in Texas, constantly reading CMS guidelines, the going directly to the payers website, reading what they have going on. Definitely just that's the best way. That's how I stay abreast. Just actually knowing what's going on in my state and or the territories that I cover. I cover right now the whole state of Texas. So right now I don't have to worry about anything outside of Texas, but it's been times I've covered 5 states that I have, to keep up what's going on. So right now my main goal is just say what's going on with the Senate or what they have going on with as far as the health changes or laws that's changing in my area.
Hmm. For myself, I would say I make it a habit to read pair updates, CMS newsletters, and industry publications is important. I also attend webinars. That helps to stay on top of things and sharing information with my colleagues because sometimes we learn just as much from each other, so and internally, so we get compliance updates as well internally. So it's a constant learning curve, but staying proactive really makes a difference.
And in this role, you actually work along, stay connected with your market access team. Market access and work
Mhm.
real closely with Field Reimbursement Manager because they're the ones who's actually having the meetings with the insurance payers. They're the ones getting the contracts. So as they have those meetings, also getting staying in contact with them, collaborating with them whenever they have actually changes is another resource.
Mhm.
Are there any like professional organizations that you all belong to?
I actually have been recently with the even though I'm not in a sales rep, but I actually the National Sales Network, also Black and Pharma, those are some of the organizations that I have not become members yet of any of those, but I do attend the whenever they have something, conventions.
Very cool. So, back to so we have the compliance piece. So can you describe an experience like handling those reimbursement claims and ensuring those accuracy and that compliance? Like, what does that look like specifically? You want to dig in?
Sure. So being that I am actually at Cover My Meds, so I have access to the data, right? So 95% of your insurance companies use Cover My Meds. And with that, I'm able to see the documents that actually is uploaded to Cover My Meds. So for example, I have an office. I'm sorry,
Sorry, Cover My Meds. Is that like
it's
It's a
a
portal.
it's a
So
portal that I'm
you
sorry,
submit your
guys. It's yes.
authorizations.
So it's a Cover My Meds is a portal that actually that 95% of your insurance company utilize to communicate prior authorizations. It's just an electronic prior authorization communicates. So when the office complete the prior authorization, they upload it into this portal and it's sent to directly to the payer. And because my field reimbursement manager role is currently at Cover My Meds, I am able to see the documents that the clinic actually upload. I'm able to see the prior authorization. So when working with the office and I see that, hey, they have written a prescription for this medication and they have not even included indication for the medication, which is going to automatically, of course, give a denial. So what I actually would do is in my journey of going my routing, I actually schedule a visit to go to this office and have a conversation with the person that's actually doing the prior authorization and advise them, so they can stay compliant with the medication. It's very important that they understand that they can have all these other ICD-10 codes on there if they choose to use them, but they have to have that ICD-10 for the medication, what it was indicated for, and not the term, the verbiage of what it was indicated for. It has to be included on there. If not, it's going to automatically give you a denial.
Mhm.
Oh, right. Actually, I see you said ICD-10. Is that the
Yes,
medication?
I'm sorry. I'm utilizing codes that your verbiage that I have to remember that I'm dealing with. I'm having a conversation with clinical research. I'm so sorry, guys. So ICD-10 codes that is the codes that is utilized for billing whenever you go to the doctor, not just in pharma, but also when you go to the doctor. So whenever you go to the doctor to have anything done, there is a
There's on a
ICD-10
code.
code. Yes, so that's how they communicate with your insurance company of what you had done while you was at the doctor. And those same codes are utilized in pharma as well. So they're utilized on the prior authorization form. And that's how they communicate with your insurance provider. Hey, this is the reason why John Doe need this particular medication because they was diagnosed with major depression disorder and they have an ICD-10 code for major depression disorder. So if the research has been done and this is what the medication is going to be used for, and if you don't have that ICD-10 code on the prior authorization indicating that that patient has been diagnosed with major depression disorder, when it goes to your insurance company going to say, well, I don't see that diagnosis code on here. The medication was not indicated for um ADD or some other form. It was not for anxiety, right? It was indicated for major depression disorder. And if that is not on the form, it will automatically be denied. So again, that's what I'm doing when I'm having a conversation with the office in regards to. So making sure they stay compliant when they submit that prior authorization.
Mhm. Basically, every illness and disease have a code. Everything has a code to it.
And if there's not been a code created, there's something called a J code that they will utilize as until that is done. You're muted, Courtney.
Oh, I'm reading questions from the chat. I'm trying to prepare for that portion of our because we're
I'm actually copying and pasting them off to the
okay.
side, so when we do the Q&A, we have them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Oh, I got you.
So yes, because they're talking in the chat about what ICD 9 and 10 codes are, and then
Okay.
disposition codes. But so basically, how you are billed by your medical provider, they use those codes to gather up your total for what that visit costs you or your insurance company. We'll that's another conversation for another day. Okay.
I
So
was missing the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I was missing. I'm just been
no,
focused.
it is good information to have because it's everyone that's here has some sort of interest in it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So they need to know what they're going to get themselves into. So if it's something that they don't know and that they might need to, kind of review or get some information on, please give it all. Because that's what we want. We want to be transparent. We want to give everyone a true view of what these roles look like so that they don't go into applying thinking that they're doing something that is not really the case. And then two, we don't want them to be overwhelmed because sometimes the things that we do in this field, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It definitely could be a lot, and especially if you actually working on a launch. Okay, so you guys done did the research. The medication has actually been approved by the FDA, and now it's time for they done had the launch party, they done had party, and they celebrated, and boom, it's time for the sales rep to go and hit the road and start introducing the medication to the doctors, right? And so now the doctors are writing the medication, and here come your insurance provider's like, nah, not just yet. This brand new medication, is it really going to work? It's extremely expensive. Do we really want to actually pay for it, right? So in the beginning, you do have a lot of pharma companies that have assistance programs until they actually get rolling, right? There to so that the doctors, for one, could see, okay, this medication is definitely one that they want to utilize. Now, the pharma company can't, the manufacturer don't want to go broke, right? Just giving away medication. Now they done cut off the assistance program. But hey, here come your PBM saying, pharmacy benefit manager saying, hey, you done wrote this prescription saying that this patient has been on the medication for the year. Who been paying for the last year? Now you want us to pay for it? Who's been paying for this the whole entire year? So then I go in and I have to explain to the provider office that, hey, you need to actually, this is what I recommend. Let them know that, hey, the patient has been on the medication for the last year. They was on an assistance program. They've been taking it, it's been stable on the medication for this entire time. And then of course, with saying that, and the patient actually, sometimes the pharmacy benefit manager want to talk directly to the patient to see that if the provider is really telling the truth or not.
Oh, wow.
And yes. And so when that's done, not all the time, but it do happens. And when they, most of the time when they explain that, in my case, in my territory, I've seen that has worked. Whereas, because when the patient has been getting free medication, the insurance company has no eye on that, right? They have no eye on it. So they basically don't want to pay for something if they don't have to. So that's the thing is with of course, prior authorizations is big when you get launches because of, they want you not to, they don't want to pay for it. So they banking on you not completing the denial. And that's my job to educate them. Look, I know it's a headache. Y'all have a lot, y'all busy, but just go ahead. And if I promise you, keep filling the prior authorization out, and eventually that medication moves up on a different tier and it removes the barrier of having to do that prior authorization.
I love that. I love that. Especially is just like access to care. Like access to care is something that should be very important for our community as a whole. So,
And that's why the role is so fulfilling, because you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, we're not practice clinicians, but we're working behind the scene for the patient. And the
yeah.
patient have never even seen my face, don't have no idea they have somebody behind the scene working for them. And for me, that is the fulfillment. That's
Oh,
why I love the role.
y'all are the community. I mean, geez. All right. So before we get to our questions from the chat, the last question I think that would be good would be what does career growth look like within your role? Is this is this particular role the starting point, or is there a role underneath that someone can go into as an entry level? What is above you? Where do you go from where you are now? Please give us that map.
I'm gonna say you can grow horizontally, moving into training, payer relations, or strategic accounts, or vertically into management, director or national roles. Some FRMs, move into market access or policy work. Your path depends on your strengths, whether that's field engagement, strategy, or leadership, excuse me. So it depends on your strengths.
Everything Demisha said, plus you may get to a role because they have roles that's field reimbursement managers paying as high as 230, 260, right? You may get and be like, listen, I'm fine right where I am.
Where
I
I'm
don't want
at.
to manage nobody. Let me
Right.
get my coins, get in my office, and go home. Okay. So, I mean, if not, but if you want that say, hey, I want to go and grow, you can go into become like directors, associate directors, and the role where you actually manage a team of FRMs territory, and have several different states that you're managing. But for me, I'm fine where I am. Then let me get my coins. I would actually work on a side and mentor other people that was less like myself and then that had to go through every door, right, to get to this point. And I'm reach back and grab my sister and help her navigate the rope. So that's what I plan on doing or am doing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. So I guess now it would be a great time to divert to some questions from the chat. Desiree, what we got?
Sure. So here's one that seems there's people are kind of touching on it a little bit. So what type of training did you receive? You guys keep talking about the training, but I know you guys had to get some kind of training, right? So what did that look like?
So, Desiree, that is why you really, really need to know insurance.
Yes.
Because coming as an FRM, there is no training. All of your jobs that you've done prior to this role is your training.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're going to learn the processes and policies for the contract that you're on, whatever drug that you're actually going to be assisting with. You learning the resources that they've provided. Every job that you've had prior to getting to this point is your training. That is why when if there are people online that are field reimbursement managers, and they wonder why it takes so many interview processes, right? 5 to 6 rounds. If those people are paying that amount of money to
All
you,
right.
they want to
Yeah.
know, do you truly
Get
know
get.
what you're talking about? Did you go and pull up something on Chat GPT and actually just copy and just try to verb it and get ready for an interview? No, I know that because we as Black women have it hard a lot of times interviewing, right? We have a lot of things going against us. However, when that is one of the reasons why, and when they are interviewing our process as well, I'm not sure if you guys may know this or heard this. There are times they actually call you in to do a presentation, so they want to see you in person to see if you really do know what you're speaking in regards to.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say, important skill, to have in this world, I would say strong communication. Problem solving is huge. Clinical background, such as myself, because I was on the floor, being a registered nurse, that really helps when you're explaining complex therapies or working with providers. Organization skills, emotional intelligence, and knowledge of reimbursement processes are also a key. If you have a foundation in billing and coding, because I went back and got my certification in billing and coding, and that came as a wonderful tool in this position. So,
Yes.
and also if you have hub experience,
See,
big plus.
a little
So,
bit uh,
yes, that's a big
billing and
plus too if you
coding.
had hub services.
I'm
Somebody asked
sorry, what
me coding, like what's the difference between billing and coding and what you guys do? Or is that just like a subset of the knowledge that you have to have?
it's a subset of the knowledge
Yeah.
because we're actually not again doing the if you know billing and coding, and when you actually get to a particular medication, and you, for example, if you actually have worked in oncology, right? So you're used to you used of the medications that you guys have worked in the oncology office. So when you're going in to speak with the oncologist, the person that's on the authorization, you're familiar with those drugs or the codes.
Yeah.
Just again, just communicating those,
Mhm.
the codes. But like again, everything Demisha said, also your nurses, your nurses who actually have that's in offices. You have nurses,
Mhm.
patient access liaison, biologic coordinators, the people that's actually in office that's
Mhm.
doing the prior authorizations.
Yep.
They have the skill set. Once they have actually mastered the prior authorization process, and we're going in there talking to them, they can, if they have their degree, because a lot of times to get directly on with the form, they require your degree. But of course, you can come in through like McKesson, they don't require a degree, but they're looking at experience. You can go from being a biologic coordinator and transition into this role.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like how people can transition from other, because that's I see that as a question, and that's a question that I had here as well. Breaking into this industry, breaking into it. What does that look like?
So, break into the industry again. You as a nurse, you actually in the office doing prior authorization. Once you've actually became had been exposed to the role, and you actually find interest in the role, just knowing how you've actually taken you was the one completing the prior authorization. Now you're going on this side. You want to be able to. You just have to get used to knowing you're going to be in the field, right? You're going into the field, and you're the one going into the office, and you're explaining what everything you used to do on the prior authorization. You was the one completing it. Only thing you're doing now is you're going into the office, and you actually explaining to the next person that's going to be completing the prior authorization everything you were doing when you was the person. That's really all it is. As a nurse or a biologic coordinator or anybody that was in a provider office. Then you have
For
sales
me,
reps. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say to get into this for me, I will have to say networking, connecting with people. Because when you're in the field, you meet so many people, biological coordinators, MAs. Sometimes you might even speak directly to a physician. That's a wonderful network right there because you're actually speaking to the provider. So when, being an FRM, and then I also had a little taste of being a sales rep as well, like I said, building those relationships. And honestly, LinkedIn, everybody knows that LinkedIn is like the perfect platform for networking and, talking to people. And yeah, and because honestly, again, that's how I, got into this role was just by networking and meeting people out in the field. Yes.
Networking,
Yes.
connecting with people that's already in the
Mhm.
FRM role. We've actually interviewed, they have so many different rounds of interviews, but they're asking you the same questions over and
Yeah,
over
over
again,
again.
just rewording it. Connect with other people that's FRM, myself, Demisha, do role plays, mock interviews,
Yeah.
so we can actually help you transition a particular situation, how you would actually word that in the interview. So just again, taking those transferable skills that you used to do, doing completing the authorization, talking to the sales rep when they came in the office. All of
Mhm.
those are people that you collaborate with. So they want to see now, how can you collaborate? How you doing building relationship? Because really, again, this role is about building relationships
Yes.
and
Mhm.
communicating.
Yeah, because pharmaceutical, believe it or not, it's truly one big circle. You're going to know somebody of somebody from a company, So that's the wonderful thing about pharmaceutical. You're going to run into people you've worked with before. So relationships and networking matter. It really does. And again, LinkedIn is the perfect platform for it.
So there's I see these questions about mentoring. Um, are you guys taking on mentees? Are you doing
Hit
that?
me up. Hit me up.
So
Hit me up. Talk to
I
me. I love networking. I love talking. Yes, hit me up. I will provide my expertise knowledge as much as I can
so
about the role and what we do.
I'll drop y'all LinkedIn
URL in the chat too, so everyone can connect with you as well.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you can
And
also
I created a, I don't know if Danielle want me to say this or not, but I don't know if you mind, but I created a FRM, Black FRMs Connect, where I actually allow people that's transitioning into FRM role or interested in actually current FRMs. Again, because my DM was blowing up, so I had to create a space where I can actually assist others. So that's what I did.
what is it called? FRM
Black FRMs Connect, but it's private. I actually I don't have it openly where you can find it. So once they connect, I can actually send an invite. And I did that because of stipulations with making sure that I am aligned with my job.
but it's called Black FRMs Connect.
Yes. I
Okay.
dropped yeah, they connect with me. I could send the information. And I'll send Danielle, I'll send your invite as well. So you can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just with what you said, this is okay to share, or do you need us to take that part out? Because this will be on.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it does. It was up to, it's up to you. I don't mind.
Okay, I know you were saying with your job, so that's why
Yeah,
that's the part I
yeah.
was
No,
asking. Are you
yes.
okay with?
I Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
okay.
Yes, I'm
I just wanted to
yeah.
make sure.
No, no, no. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting any payment from it. So hey, it's just providing knowledge.
Okay, well, you need to talk to me because we need to change that. Okay.
Yes.
Danielle about to hook you all the way up.
Okay. I love getting that.
Well, I have a stipulation in that, Danielle. Yes, was the thing. I had to wait to go, so we'll talk.
Yes. So let's see. We have a couple more. We still have a few more minutes. All right. So here are some more like specific questions that maybe you can break it down. So there's a question about can what is it? How much are you interacting with the medical benefit clinical policies? Do you know what that is? Can you explain
Yeah.
that?
Yes. So when patients actually make their insurance election at the end of the year, they're actually, of course, they're just choosing what's probably the smallest amount that's going to come out their check, right? They're not paying attention most of the time to knowing that their election is connected to their pharmacy benefits. And when they get the prescription written, and a lot of the times the decisions that's being made, a lot of times with the barriers is because of the elections of the patients, the insurance decision that they've made, right? So when we go back to the benefits, when we're looking at there are some plans that may have medical exclusion. So regardless of what the doctor put on a prior authorization, it doesn't matter because the plan that that patient has selected is has been medically excluded. Nothing we could say. They may not even review the prior authorization because of the election of the plan that the patient has actually selected.
Yeah.
So that's the closest we get with their benefits. But again, your benefits makes a decision on the outcome of the medication formulary.
Yeah.
And
It's very connected.
looks like somebody has needs a little back to the J codes. Um, there's a little clarification needed. Did you say that J codes are temporary? Those are temporary codes?
No, what I was saying was sometimes there are not ICD-10 codes available for when the medication first come out. Sometimes I was stating that they have J codes that's being utilized. That's not temporary.
Oh, okay. Got it. And
Oh no, go ahead.
did you see any other I was gonna ask you, did you see any other questions? Because I'm
Nope. But do we have any FRMs or any sales reps in the chat who might want to come off of mute and ask a question while we have time left? We have about 9 minutes left.
Where are FRMs at?
Oh,
I'm gonna say,
oh,
or add additional, or if they
where
want to
y'all
add any,
at?
I'm gonna say, or if they want to add any additional information to what you said, or even talk about the relationship. Like I saw someone that said that they were a sales rep, so talking about the relationship that they have more with the FRM. So if anyone would love to connect and make sure all the
Yes, yes.
FRMs are connected.
because we work real closely with our sales reps, and
Yes.
you know, if you're talking about getting into the FRM role, being
You
connected to your
gotta have
sales rep
relationship. Yes.
relationship, that is definitely a great connection because the sales reps can make they can move mountains.
Yes, they can. Definitely with those hard offices that you cannot get into, such as John Hopkins, which is one of my area turfs. It's very hard to get in there, but not no more. So your sales reps can be very beneficial in the FRM role. Yeah.
I love that. It's like you're building a community with inside of your community.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So being able to
Reinforce it.
network, being able to
Sorry.
make that connection, being able to
Mhm.
just not be afraid to speak and say hello.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Now it's like they happy to see us come through the door because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you're gonna need us. Whether you don't want to deal with us today, you're gonna eventually need us because it's gonna be one of those patients that's gonna have, some type of issue in trying to get their medication. So you're gonna eventually need us to
Mm,
come in there. And that's when that relationship is going to build between me and that person. So they know eventually they're gonna need us, the FRMs.
nice.
Yes, and we provide value to, providing value. Some conversations that the FRM, the sales reps can have because of compliant. So just building that relationship because it's again we have PHI, they don't, and
They
they're promotional. We're non-promotional patient access. So to collaborate, and make it, so we can have some conversations that they ultimately cannot have.
No, Celeste wanted to say something. Celeste, are you able to?
Hi everyone, and I'm sorry I was able to get off mute. So I have like a different role. It's considered an FRM, but I work with radio pharmaceuticals, and so my title was I'm an account reimbursement manager, and so I actually work with my sales reps. I'm not privy to PHI because I work directly for the manufacturer,
Mhm.
but I guess. What you're saying is what I know to be true when I worked for biopharmaceuticals. I started at the last group at a hub,
Yeah.
Yeah,
a long time ago, and so
yes,
yeah. So the radio pharmaceutical, I've only been doing it for 2 years. It's very new, but some of the things that I've done to get to the place that I am, because it's a different kind of coin with radio pharmaceuticals. Let me tell you.
yes, yes.
The PAC certification,
Yeah,
I don't know, for some reason it's very big where I'm
it
at.
is.
It was
Mm-hmm.
really hard for me to get into this role. I didn't go looking for it. I had headhunters reach out to me. Um, I did one interview and I was hired. It was that easy. But
Yeah.
it was based on my background and my experience working with the hubs. I mean, and I started at the very bottom doing prior
Mm-hmm.
authorization. So all
Yeah.
those billing and coding certifications, I don't know if you have to get a degree in there, but I got the certifications. I did go back to school and got my master's and all that other stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
um, starting, if for someone just coming in, I recommend getting some hub experience. It's
Yeah,
really
I
beneficial to
agree.
getting into this role.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's,
I
I
totally
totally
agree.
agree. I totally agree, Celeste. And what she mentioned was the access reimbursement manager is definitely aligned with field reimbursement manager. Same thing, just as different companies, the role is just named differently. And then, of course, work as far as pivot to PHI, it depends on the company because there are a lot of companies that are direct pharma that you do have access to PHI.
Mhm.
So, but
Yeah,
that's awesome,
Yeah.
Celeste.
And
yeah.
she
Thank
did
you,
say
Latoya.
something about, you said something about PACs, because believe it or not, the new position that I'm in now, I had to get certification for PACs.
Yeah, it's
So
big.
I
It's
get
really
and that is big now. I see now with these FRM roles, you got to have PAC certification because they want you to understand the process of a prior authorization because that's what it's all about is getting that approval for the patient to be on therapy.
absolutely
So yeah. And so and again, also with the billing and coding, same as myself, I went back. That was just something that I wanted to do. I
right.
wanted to get certified in the medical billing and coding because that was a step really that expanded my understanding of reimbursement in the billing landscape. So yes.
And I love what you're doing too. And I feel like if I would have had a mentor or somebody, maybe I wouldn't have to work so hard to get into this role, because it took me like 10 years to get to the spot where I'm trying to be. And I see people step in this role,
Yeah,
in a year or two. So who and I
there you
love
go.
what you're doing, Queens. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I love that you guys got to
All right,
connect.
so we have a few minutes left.
Oh, my connection is crazy. So
Your
please.
connection's crazy.
I'm gonna say I should be good. So I did see one more person. They said that they were a sales rep. If you wanted to come off of mute too
Mhm.
and talk about.
Hi, yes. I unfortunately I cannot jump on camera, but first of all, as a sales rep, I wanted to say thank you to you all, because you are lifesavers for us. So the medication that I have is a migraine medication, and as you stated before, when it first launched, there were a lot of hurdles concerning access. And so when we
Yes.
come in as sales reps
Mhm.
and the provider has this mentality that I'm on board with the science. I'm on board with your medication. I want to reach for it every time for my patients, but they're not going to be able to get it. So what's the point based on
Yeah.
what they experienced in the past? And then we try to say, oh, but access has improved. Here are your preferred plans. Then we lean heavily on you all to make sure that their MAs understand the PA process,
Yeah.
or make sure the provider is doing the proper documentation, and so I will say thank you so much, because there are so many on the sales side, there's so many ways that even when we do our job, if we were to do it perfectly, then there's so many ways that the patient still may not get the medication. And so we rely heavily on you all. I will say personally, I have increased my collaboration with my FRM. We're doing lunches together because
Yeah.
of compliance, as you said. I can't hear his spiel, he can't hear mine, but we can definitely, we will book out the calendar. What accounts are you targeting?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
accounts am I targeting? How can we
Mhm.
get together? And then he'll go in and he'll do his thing. And then once he's finished, then I'll come back behind it and do my thing. And it has really grown to be a beautiful relationship. So thank you guys so much, because there's no way we could do what we do without you.
Oh,
You're
well, thank
welcome. You're
you.
welcome. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
And
you what you do as well. So we're
absolutely.
yes, we're a team at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That's what I tell them. And and when they see you going in together, it makes all of a difference.
Mhm.
Danielle, real quick, there's quite a few questions about joining this group, this th that Latoya has. Um, are we going to be, we can post that information? Or are you going
So
to be able to give everyone
uh,
access?
Latoya says
Yes,
if you connect with her, she
I'll
will.
talk to Danielle, and then I'll proceed. So just be on the lookout for it. How about this? How you guys that's interested, just drop me your email address in my LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm a
I'm
FRM.
sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put my email in the chat as well. So you can just email me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think someone was coming off mute to say something. I saw her name pop up. See. Let me see if I see her name. It started with a T.
Can I
Tanisha?
just can I just say one thing before we log off? I just want to hear me. Was someone about this?
Yeah, Tanisha was about to say, ask a
Oh,
question real quick.
okay. No, I wasn't going to ask a question. I was just saying that I love that you ladies have put this together. I'm also an FRM. I've been an FRM for several years now. And just to piggyback off of that medical benefit, so I have a portfolio of 4 drugs with my manufacturer, but one of the drugs that I do have, it uses both the medical and the In pharmacy pharmacy. benefit. Mhm. So one of the first part is infusions, which goes through the medical benefit, but then it
Mhm.
transitions over to sub Q, which the patient injects themselves, and it goes through the pharmacy benefit.
Mhm.
So
like you said, just being well diverse with, your payers, understanding the landscape, understanding the
Yes.
lingo of what is required for FRMs is all going to be pivotal for this role. But I just want to say to you ladies, thank you so much for putting this together. I had forgot about it and I'm out to dinner and I just stepped away from the table just to comment because I love that you guys are doing this and I would love to be a part of your platforms as well.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that is wonderful. So we have everyone's LinkedIn, and then we have Latoya has her Gmail there. So if you guys haven't grabbed it, snatch it up right now. Everybody's copy paste
Yep.
it.
And Demisha wanted to say something before we left off.
Yeah, I just want to say something quick. I just want to say throughout my career in the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, whether at the bedside as a nurse, working behind the scenes in corporate roles, or engaging directly in the field, such as what Latoya and I do, one purpose has remained constant, and that is ensuring patients can access the care they need. That's all I wanted to
Absolutely.
say.
So they can have their medications to live a healthier life. So
There you
yes,
go.
definitely.
The mission continues.
I love that. I love that so much. And quite honestly, dealing with healthcare in general, if that's not why you're in it, why are you here? I just, because we're supposed to be helping humanity here.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, thank you, ladies, for
Thank
everything
you.
Oh,
today. Thank you for all of your insight. Thank you for the future mentorships that you guys are going to do. Thank you for the group invites, Latoya. We appreciate you. Thank you for the connection in the future. Thank you for the connection today. Continue to connect. Click on those links or copy and
Yes.
paste those links for LinkedIn and connect with us. And don't forget, we have the Black Women in Clinical Research Conference coming up this October. You can buy your
yes.
tickets. They're on sale currently. You can buy your merch. Please don't forget, we got a new shirt for Juneteenth. It says, I am the community. Go get you one because that's what we are. And all your other services that you can get through BWICR, mentorship, resume review,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, interview prep. If you just need somebody to talk to, have a coffee with, hit us up. Join the app. You know how to get in touch with us. We love you all. Thank you. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye-bye, ladies. Thank
Bye. Thank
you.
you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, guys.